There's one that's 45, 45, 90, and there's one that's 30, 60, 90. We're only covering one today. One of these is 45, 45, 90. One of these is 30, 60, 90. Which one do you think is which?
30, 60, 90.
Over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's a lanky boy.
It's smaller because they're both. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Because they're lanky? Because they're...
It's like the 30 angle, like it's skinny.
Is skinnier?
Yeah.
Yes, they're right. Do you notice how this side is smaller? Because it's across from a smaller angle, right? This is your 45, 45, 90 because, and you can tell a little bit, you couldn't have guesstimated that. You couldn't have known that just by looking. But you can guess because this looks to be about the same as this. So at the top, let's write 45, 45, 90. This is our special, one of our special right triangles. So this has a shortcut. Every single time it has a shortcut. And you use the same shortcut every time. Here's the shortcut. Remember, it has to be, if that's 90, this has to be 45 degrees, and this has to be 45 degrees. Oop, sorry. Okay. Now remember, if these two angles are the same, then these two sides are the same. So whatever this side is, this side's going to be the same thing. So let's call this X. Well, if that side is X, what's this side going to be?
X.
Right. And this is called your, this is your hypotenuse, so let's call it our hypotenuse. Here's how you find your hypotenuse if you know your leg. We call these legs. You take your leg and you multiply it by the square root of 2. So your hypotenuse is equal to whatever your x was times the square root of 2. That's your shortcut every time. So if this leg is 3, what's this leg?
3.
So your hypotenuse is 3 square root of 2. If this is 5, then this is 5, and this is 5 square root of 2.
5 times. I thought it said time.
5 times square root of 2. Yeah.
Don't forget the time.
Well, 5 times square root of 2 is just 5 times square root of 2. 5 square root of 2. Because when you multiply 5 times the square root of 2, you can't multiply 5 and the square root of 2. So it doesn't become 10. Because you can't multiply 5 with square root of 2 because they both don't have a radical. Let's practice. So it'd just be 5 square root of 2. That's it. There's only one case. There's only one case where it's kind of bad, and I'm going to help you out. So I have 3 cases. The first case is the one that's good. We love this case. This case is awesome. Thank you, case 1, for being so awesome. Find your hypotenuse. If this leg is 9 and this leg is also 9, then your hypotenuse, x, is just going to be 9 square root of 2.
12 points.
Nope, don't, no decimal. No decimal, leave it like that.
Oh, okay.
Leave it like that. That's the answer.
Oh, I thought we were actually going to put it in.
That is the answer. That's the answer. Huh? Okay, because whatever this is, this was your x, right? X. Whatever this is, your hypotenuse is just x times the square root of 2. It's just a shortcut because it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Well, you can't multiply 9 and the square root of 2 any further because there's no radical. That's the furthest you can go. Now, y'all are all wanting to multiply your radicals in a number. You can only multiply a radical with another radical. So look right here. Is this a leg or a hypotenuse? This is a leg. So this is your x in our case now. Okay, in our shortcut, this is our x. So how do I find our hypotenuse? By just multiplying this whole thing by the square root of 2. That's how we find our hypotenuse. We take this whole thing and we multiply it by the square root of 2. So now, y'all are wanting to multiply. You get to multiply. Why? Because there's 2 radicals to multiply. Because you have 6 square root of 2 times the square root of 2. So multiply these 2 radicals. 2 times 2 is? Well, the square root of 4 is just? So 6 times 2 is? So x is equal to?
I don't like that too much.
That's not anything yet.
So you got to multiply 2 times 2.
You can multiply these 2 together because they both have a radical.
Then what you do with 6 and 4? What you do with that?
Square root of 4 is 2. If you plug that in your calculator, square root of 4 is 2. So then you multiply 6 times 2 is 12. Yes, I'll explain again. Square root of 2, you can multiply these 2 now because they both have radicals. So square root of 2 times square root of 2 becomes square root of 4. But the square root of 4 is 2. So this simplifies to this. So now 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, that was case 1. Case 2 is good. You like case 2 as well. We're not given a leg, we're given the hypotenuse, right? But it's not bad. Here's why. It's not bad because you're given 5 square root of 2. Well, if your hypotenuse is 5 square root of 2, and our shortcut over here told us that if your hypotenuse is x square root of 2, then your leg is just x. Then if this is 5 square root of 2, then x is just, right. Right. When you have your hypotenuse and you're given 5 square root of 2, to find your leg, you just take the number in front when it's connected to a square root of 2. So x is just 5.
Oof. So number 4x is 10.
And y is?
There's no y.
Okay. Right, yeah.
Y is 2 and x is 10.
They're both the same thing. They're both 10. Because both of these have to be the same thing. 45, 45, 90. Okay, so let's go over these. Because really we haven't touched anything yet. Like these are all very good cases compared to what we're about to see.
So hard.
Case 3 is the not fun one. I'm just going to be real with you. Case 3 is the not fun one. Okay? There's 3 cases. Okay, so case 1. You knew your side, you knew your leg, all you did was multiply it by the square root of 2. You knew your leg, all you did was multiply it by the square root of 2. So let's write what we did. We did leg times square root of 2. That's all we did in case 1. Case 1, we did leg times square root of 2. In case 2, all we did was took the number in front of what? The square root of 2. Here's where the fun starts.
Is it going to be ironic enough that we have to do both of these?
No.
Dang.
Okay, let's go up here, and I want you to write a box. I want you to draw a box on this little pink sheet. This is your cheat sheet. You and this cheat sheet need to become BFFs. You can use this cheat sheet on your test. BFFs, don't lose this cheat sheet. Okay? I'm about to write something, and I just need you to trust me. Do you trust me?
Yes.
I just need you to trust me. Okay? In the case of case number 3, you need to use this formula. It's not a mile long. in the case of case number 3, you need to use this formula. Well, what's significant about case number 3? Case number 3, you're given the hypotenuse. So let's put the significance of case number 3. Put a star. We're given the hypotenuse. But what's missing? What's missing beside the hypotenuse? The square root of 2. So we can't just take the number in front because there's no square root of 2. Are you following me? So that's the difference between case 2 and case 3. Case 2, we just get to take the number in front of the square root of 2. Case 3, there is no number just to take in front of. So we have to use our formula. So we're going to look for our formula. Let's write it down. X is equal to h square root of 2 divided by 2. So you actually just take your hypotenuse and you plug it in for h. So x is equal to 8 square root of 2 divided by 2. Now don't plug this in your calculator. Just simplify. What's 8 divided by 2?
4.
And you have 4 square root of 2. That's your answer.
That's it.
That's it.
That's easy.
That's it.
You scared me.
I'm sorry. Because
It's a lot.
it's a little confusing. Now, some of you like to check yourselves. So if you're given your leg and it's 4 square root of 2, couldn't you check yourself? Well, if this is my leg, then my hypotenuse would just be this times the square root of 2, right? Well, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of, and the square root of 4 is, and 4 times 2 is, do you follow me? If you want to check yourself, you do not have to do this step. But if you want to check yourself, take your leg you just found, plug it back in here, and multiply it by the square root of 2. You should get the same thing. Yes?
What happened to the 2 that was on the bottom?
We divided it. 8 divided by 2.
Oh.
Okay, number 6. What are we missing? We're given the hypotenuse, but what's not there? The square root of 2. So we have to use our formula. So to find the leg, which in this case they're not calling it x, they're calling it b. So I'm going to say b is equal to the hypotenuse square root of 2 divided by 2. So b is equal to 6 square root of 2 divided by 2. Well, I can divide 6 divided by 2, which becomes 3 square root of 2. If you can't divide it, okay, let me show you this real quick. What if it was 5 divided by 2? Well, 5 divided by 2 gives me a clean decimal. I can use that. That's okay. If you get 7 divided by 3, I don't want that. Just leave it as a 7 square root of 2 divided by 3.
So you don't divide it at all.
Yeah, if it's dirty. This is your answer. If I wanted to check it, I would take 3 square root of 2 and multiply it by what? Square root of 2. Well, square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4, which is, and 3 times 2 is, square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. But the square root of 4 is 2. So 2 times 3 is 6. So we got around. We are not going to do 30, 60, 90 today. You don't want to, trust me. 1 is enough for one day. What I do want you to try is I want you to try 1 through 6. 1 through 6. Let's go through here and let's talk about what cases these are. Let's go through. I want you to take about 30 seconds. I want you to try this. And I want you to go write 1, 2, or 3 beside each one. Is it case 1, case 2, or case 3? You go try it. Your writing is it case 1, case 2, or case 3? Just write a 1, 2, or 3 and circle it. Just 1 through 6. All right, after you've checked your cases, go ahead and finish 1 through 6.
That is the case.
Yeah, those are the case numbers. I wanted you to try it on your own, though. Did you finish 1 through 6? Then you can work on your project again.
Wait.